Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'll guide you through the process of planar tracking in Blender. By the end of this video you'll be able to seamlessly integrate images into your footage using Blender's powerful tracking tools. Let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to open Blender. At the top of the screen you'll see the plus tab. Click on it and in the drop down menu go to the VFX and then select motion tracking. Next we're going to load in our footage. Click on the open and navigate to the folder containing your footage. Select your footage and click Open Clip to load into Blender. By default, Blender likes to send our view transform to AGX, which is more for CGI. So we're going to change it to standard. So let's go to the Render Properties tab on the right side of the screen, and under Color Management, let's set View Transform to standard. Now let's prepare the footage for tracking. Go to the top left of the window and select Set Seat and Frames. This is going to set the appropriate amount of frames for your footage. Click on Prefetch to preload the footage. You'll see the blue line up, and this is just pretty much preloading your footage, so it's easy to scroll through. Now I don't believe you have to do this for planar tracking, but I always like to be in the habit of configuring my camera settings. So select Track tab on the right side of the screen and go to Camera Settings. Set the camera to match the sensor you used. For example, I'm using the Canon R7, so I'll select APS-C. Next, set the lens to the focal length you used. For me, that was 50 millimeters. Now go to Track Settings and set Match to Previous Frame. This is just pretty much telling the track to stay in the same spot you were in the last frame. Now check the box next to Normalize. Normalize basically helps when the lighting changes in your scene. When it gets a little bit brighter or dimmer, it reduces the impact of the lighting so that your track can stay more accurate. Now scroll down to the Track Settings Extra and set Correlation to 0.9. This is pretty much telling the track to make sure that you're 90% sure that you stayed in the same position throughout the entirety of the video. For this one, we're not going to worry about the pattern and search size. They're typically fine where they're at. Now we're going to add the track markers. And you think all these circular nail holes or nails would be good tracking points, but really they're not. Blender likes points, corners, unique shapes, and the circle doesn't really offer any of those. So let's put our tracking points. All you need is 4, and that's all you want to put on there. So I'm going to put mine as close to the kind of corners of where I want my words to be as possible to kind of actually make the shape of what I think the planar is going to track. You don't have to do that, but you do want to be close to where your planar track's going to be. Now that we chose our 4 tracking locations, we're going to select them all, and then we're going to come down to the bottom and select the track markers and what direction we want to track them. You'll see that this one track selected marker forward by 1 frame. It means it'll only move forward by 1 frame. This one will track the selected markers forward by the entire footage. This one tracks work backwards by the entire clip, and then this one tracks it backwards by 1 frame. So we're gonna track forward by the entire clip, but we could also just press Control T. And as you see, that'll track it, all of them, all the way, and they all made it to the end, which is great. Now, on the left side of the screen, go to Solve Settings and select Plane Track. Then click on Create Plane Track. Now we're going to move and shape the plane track to the area where you want your image to be displayed. Try to be as accurate as possible. You really want it to display nicely. So now we're all done with the tracking portion of our planar tracking. And we have our planar track, and now we're ready to start compositing. So let's go to the Compositing tab at the top of the screen, and then we're going to check the box next to Use Nodes. You can delete the Render Layers node, we're not going to need it. Let's press Shift A and select Movie Clip, and then in the drop down menu select your footage. Then we're going to push Shift A again and open an Image node. And then use the file search to select your desired image. I'm going to use this one. Press Shift A once more, and then we'll select the Alpha Over node. And then we're going to connect the nodes with the footage in the top section and then the image on the bottom. But really this is just saying that the footage goes first and then the image gets overlaid on top of that second. And we can't see anything right now because we haven't really rendered anything for us to see. But if we go to add-ons and enable the Node Wrangler node, then it'll give us a nice preview. So let's go up to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and we're going to search for Node Wrangler, and just make sure that that box is checked, and then save our preferences. And then if we go down to the alpha over node and press Control Shift and click on it with the left mouse button, you'll see that our preview appears. And you'll see that we just have big red letters that's overlaid over our footage. That's because we haven't told the image where or what we want it to do yet. We use the alpha over node to pretty much tell it to overlay on top of our footage, but we haven't told it exactly where. So now we need to add a plane track deform node. So let's search that up, and then let's put that in between the image and the alpha over node. And then in the drop downs, we're going to select your footage, then camera, and then plane track. And now you could see that it put it where our planar track is. And it looks nice. It looks like it fits good. That's why you want to be accurate with the shape of your plane track. And you can scrub through, test it, make sure that it moves with your footage accurately. And at this point, honestly, you could stop. You're done. You plane tracked it. You have your words where you want them to be on the sign. But we could also take it a little bit further to make it a little bit more realistic and better. So let's do that. So now we're going to push Shift A, and we're going to look for the color ramp node. And we're going to connect the movie clip to the color ramp node, but make sure that the movie clip is still connected to the top slot of the alpha over node. And then connect the color ramp to the factor of the alpha over node. And you'll see that the words kind of fade in behind the moss on the sign. This is what we're doing. We're trying to create a mask of the moss so that it looks like it's over the letters. So we can do that by adjusting the black and white values. And you can see as we adjust the white, it brings out the letters a little bit more. As we adjust the black, it brings out the moss a little bit more. So we can make the illusion that the moss is overlaid on top of or it's grown over top of the letters. And you can mess around with both of them, spread them apart, bring them closer together, kind of create like a fading effect, like the letters are worn down and they've been there for a while, they're weathered. The lettering's a little too bright for me, right? It still doesn't look real to me. So what we can do now is kind of deepen the color of the letters. So we can push Shift A again and select the color balance node. And we're going to place the color balance node in front of the plane track deform node. And then we can adjust the lift, the gamma, and the gain to get the color depths that we want to make it look more like it's faded into the sign, more like it's been there for a while, more like it's not reflecting to us. You know what I mean? It looks a little bright, reflective right now. So let's mess around with that for a little bit and let's see what we can get. So I'm actually happy with this. I think the color looks great. I think the letters look like they're actually on that sign, and this looks about as real as I can make it right now. So that means we're ready to render. We're ready to finally output this and share it with the world. So we're going to go to the Output tab. We're going to go down and select where we want it to output to. So select the little file, put it where you want to save and render to, so you could select it for later for sharing. And then after that, we'll go to the file format. We're going to select FFmpeg video, and then we're going to go to the encoding dropdown, and we're going to select MP4. And then output quality, we want to put it on high quality. We want this to look at the best it could possibly be. And then we want to check to make sure that our frame rate is correct. Currently it's not. I did this at 29.97. And then actually here I left it on 1920 by 1080, but that's incorrect. You want to do it to its native resolution. For this video was 3840 by 2160. So you want to make sure that you change that and render it in its native resolution. And then your video will look like this. And that's it. You've done it. You've successfully completed a planar track in Blender and composited an image into your footage. If you found this tutorial helpful, please be sure to like and subscribe for more Blender tips and tricks. I want to thank everybody for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.